down a little bit. There we go. I messed up. Camera. Everything's all messed up. What's up? So far it's just me. I think Kurt's coming at some point, but
he is coming at some
point. Kurt's here.
I am here.
Kurt's here. I'm here. We're on Mixer.
Are we on Mixer?
We're on Mixer. We are on Mixer.
I guess we need to sign in. So we're Ninja? Is that what you're saying?
We are Ninja. That's true.
We're Ninja.
We are Ninja.
Was Ninja a collective noun?
Yes, that's as a matter of fact. I'm just gonna. You're watching the stream, right? So if anything gets weird,
I'm about to. That's why That's why I was asking about the. Are we on Mixer? Yeah.
So, the Belcourt Theater near me is this weekend. They're doing a kick-ass Women of Science Fiction midnight series because they do theme weekends for their midnight movies. And Friday night is Terminator 2, and Saturday is Mad Max Fury Road. And since all the Mad Max movies are trash. Or, sorry, all the Mad Max games, I should say, are trash.
What?
No, yeah, they're all good. All the movies are good, except maybe Beyond Thunderdome.
I mean, I think Beyond the Thunderdome is good, while the rest are above good.
Fair enough. But I thought I would play a Terminator game, and I was looking at my shelf. I was really just trying to figure out what I was going to play, and then I saw the Terminator for Sega CD on my shelf, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to see Terminator 2 on Friday night at midnight. That seems like a thing to play.
That does seem like a thing to play. How the hell do I find her stream?
Just go to mixer.com/Joe on the stick.
Okay. There doesn't seem to be any search feature.
There's a way to get to it, but it's dumb. That's real loud. Not that this Tommy Tallarico soundtrack isn't awesome, but
it says on the stick is offline.
No, Joe on the stick.
Yeah, I went to Joe on the stick.
No, should say that I see me.
I see you, but underneath it says on the stick is offline.
Oh, we must still be it must still be defaulting to showing us co-streaming. You should be able to close that. Or minimize it. I don't know. So,
Screen settings.
So Kurt, you're old enough that
Thanks.
it's
true.
You're old enough to remember, as I am, when a grainy, shitty clip of the Terminator in a video game was mind-blowingly amazing. Yeah.
Like, oh my god, look at this. Yeah.
Like, this is sub-VHS quality, but,
This is like something that would have appeared on Friday Night Videos, which is what you watched when you didn't have MTV.
Yeah, right. And, it's... But at the time... And I talked about this quite a bit. I did a video on... WWF Rage in the Cage, which maybe I'll play some of that too, depending on how quickly I lose all my lives in Terminator. I might play some of that because SummerSlam is on Sunday, so I thought about playing a wrestling game too because SummerSlam is on Sunday. But I did a video on WWF Rage in the Cage, and it's not a very good game, but at the time, the fact that you could see the intro videos and finishing move clips of all the wrestlers was amazing. Even though they're like monochrome and terrible, it was just mind-blowing. It was awesome that we could that we could have those things. So, let's go with medium difficulty here. Customized trigger selections. Jump, fire, throw. Choose new button to fire. I think I'm fine with that. Jump. Yeah. That's fine. We'll go with that. There are two schools of thought, I think, when it comes to the right and true Genesis controller layout when you have a 3-button control scheme. And, I think it's kind of split between either C jumps, B does your default attack, and A does your special attack. Or some people say B jumps, A does your default attack, and C does your special attack. Those are sort of the two schools of thought on Genesis controller layouts, right and true Genesis controller layouts. But as with the NES,
experience with Genesis to have an opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, as with the Super, or with the NES, I should say, I think it's generally accepted that you want jump to be to the right of your attack. Whatever your attack button is, to the right of that. That's where you want your jump. You don't want jump to be left of your attack ever. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that seems right.
So this is I would say, is far and away the best game based on this film. Directly based on this film. You could argue that RoboCop versus the Terminator on the Genesis is maybe a better game with the Terminator in it. I'm not necessarily sure that I agree with that. You could also argue that the Terminator 2 arcade game from Midway is a better, game based on the property. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I think certainly as far as games that are based directly on the first Terminator film, this one is where it's at. Although there is a Bethesda, there's an old Bethesda, like sort of open worldish RPG that's based on the Terminator, but I don't know if it's actually based on the first movie or if it's just a Terminator licensed game. But I've heard that's pretty good. Did you ever play that? This PC game from like early 90s? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I know of it, but I did not play it.
Okay. And also, though, I had this as a kid, and I had the Game Gear version as a kid. And, I thought that they were both pretty competent. By no means is the Game Gear version bad.
Is this only a Sega CD version?
This is technically a port of the Genesis version, but it is much better than the Genesis game it's based on.
Okay, that was my follow-up. Did you have a Sega CD or did you have a
I did have a Sega CD as a kid.
Okay.
I was one of those kids. That's where my love of Snatcher comes from, because I had it when I was a kid.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, which is,
it all comes together.
Yeah. Oof. The only thing about this one is that it's not, you're not as agile as you might like to be. You kind of wish you Kyle Reese moved like Bill and Lance from Contra, or Gunstar Red and Gunstar Blue. He's not quite that. His controls are not quite that tight.
Yeah, it almost seems like only his lower part actually moves.
Yeah. So last night Eric and I did sort of a test run, and
Of
Mixer, yes, of the co-streaming and the mixing, and
I do find it ironic that we were like, maybe we should try Mixer, and like 2 days later they're like, Ninja is now on Mixer.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, he stole our thunder.
Yeah. Stomped all over our coming out party.
Yeah, that was going to be the big. We were going to be the big defection to the Mixer.
Right. Yeah. This is all very red.
It is. This is a very red game. There it is. You climbed down the fence. I was going to say, there's a way to get down there because there's a bunch of bonus items and stuff.
Are you always in the future?
No, you have to get to Skynet and get to the time travel apparatus.
Right. Okay, right. So then it red once you go to the past?
It is less red when you go to the past.
That's right, okay.
In fact, the next stage is less red. So once I finish this level, it actually is. There's a bunch of skulls, and it's very blue in the next section here.
So on the intro, the title screen or whatever, did they use the bit about he doesn't show remorse or pity?
I think you see that scene in the. Like, at some point you see that scene in really crappy, grainy, low-quality video.
Nice.
You get that it doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear.
Yeah, the studio didn't provide it. They just ripped it off.
Yeah, they just grabbed it from a laser disc.
Cinemax
airing,
undecoded Cinemax screen where you're squinting at it trying to see boobs.
Right. I don't even know what I just killed because it was behind a wall.
Or that was a robot.
It was probably a robot, yeah.
So you're seeing all kinds of good
movies,
retrospective kind of movies.
Yeah, the Belcourt Theater. Yeah, the Belcourt Theater here in Nashville has a fantastic repertory program. In fact, on top of all of that, this month they're doing an August Popcorn Classics retrospective. Neverending Story played yesterday, and all 3 Indiana Jones movies are playing later this month. It's like big League of Their Own.
Because of course there are only 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Yes, right. What else are they showing?
League of Their Own, nice.
Yeah, League of Their Own. The Indiana Jones ones I think Jurassic Park is one of them. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm pretty excited for that. The big ones for me is I want to see Raiders and Last Crusade.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
they're doing a whole bunch of stuff, and then in October they do a bunch of stuff. I was actually really bummed thinking about it, like that you and I aren't going to be able to go to Dismember the Alamo together this year.
Yeah.
But the Belcourt has their midnight movies for that month for October are always themed, and then they do a 12-hour 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. marathon at some point in October. So I'll definitely be going to that when that happens.
Nice.
So
yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Alien and Aliens a couple weeks ago. Terminator's on Friday. In a couple weeks, they're doing Clueless on Friday and 10 Things I Hate About You on Saturday.
Oh, that's a nice double bill.
I saw Police Story 1 and 2 on a double bill during the normal showtime because they got Criterion released. So you know that because did you go see it at the Draft House?
I did not. No, it was when I was out of town. I was pretty unhappy about that.
Yeah, so the Belcourt got that as well.
Last week they were showing a double feature of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Oh man,
I couldn't go to that either. I was pretty pissed off about that.
Oh, because you were in New York. Because you were in New York last week.
Yeah, so I was in New York. Yeah. And actually, that was Ashburn was showing that, and West Woodbridge was showing, I think, the remastered 4K thing, but they weren't showing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Have you been to Woodbridge since you and I went?
No. That's in fact the only time I've ever been there.
Yeah. Same.
I don't go enough to the one that's really close to me, so going to the one that's much further away is not
that's far away.
It's not a huge incentive for me.
Unless you can see Brian Yesna's Society. I mean, there's no reason.
Oh my god. So disturbing.
I still, not as disturbing as I was sort of felt like I was led to think it would be.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I was mostly disturbed at how into it the curator was.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about that. But yeah, I'm really interested to see with the Belcourt. Oh, and also right now the Belcourt is showing, and I am probably going to try to go see, even though I've already seen it. They're one of the theaters that got the 35mm version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
So that is the thing.
I haven't gotten to see that yet.
It's so Megan didn't love it. She didn't hate it, but she said it was bottom tier Tarantino for her.
What does she consider other bottom tier?
Death Proof. She is not a fan of. Jackie Brown. I think most of the other ones that I think the common wisdom says are bottom tier Tarantino.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, even the bottom tier of Tarantino is like better than most movies. So
yeah,
I did not think it would. So on the other hand, my dad texted me because my parents saw it before we did, and my dad texted me and was like, "Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet?" And I was like, "No," and he was like, "It's Tarantino's best film."
Wow.
And I was like, okay. I did not agree with that sentiment either. I honestly would put it right in the middle. Like, I would put it underneath Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Django, Hateful Eight. But I would probably put it... I would definitely put it above Jackie Brown. I would probably put it above Death Proof, although I think Death Proof, like the extended cut of Death Proof is a lot better than the theatrical. Seriously. See, now when I react to something, I feel like you actually get a sense of what I'm reacting to, because Mixer is much
less laggy.
Much less laggy, so...
You said, seriously, was that when you were killed by the giant robot?
It was when I blew up the treads and then ran towards it thinking it was defeated and I got killed for touching it. That was when I said, really. Yeah, so I don't know. I really liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's probably the best movie I've seen so far this year. I haven't seen Midsummer yet. In fact, I might go see Midsummer tomorrow afternoon because I just got a new job that I'm starting next week.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So my lazy days are limited now. So I think I'm gonna go catch a matinee of Midsummer tomorrow. So I haven't seen that yet.
Marion said she wanted to see it, and then I was like, "Do you?" Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she didn't like horror movies.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. And then 2 weeks later, she's like, "I changed my mind."
Have you seen it? Did you see it in New York or anything?
I have not seen it. No.
So yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I don't expect Midsummer to outdo Once Upon a Time for me. I think Midsummer will probably be good. Hereditary was one of the best movies I saw, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Last year? 2 years ago? Last year. Was that last year? Did Ari Aster make another movie in a year?
I think it was last year.
Yeah. Yeah, Hereditary was my favorite movie last year. I think Toni Collette was robbed. Yeah. Toni Collette was robbed. I mean, the Oscars are dumb, but, that notwithstanding, Toni Collette was amazing, and, yeah, she was absolutely robbed on that deal. Gabriel Byrne also, like, a pretty understated performance as the put-upon father in that movie.
Probably this year so far, John Wick is the best thing I've seen.
John Wick 3 was exciting. I think... I mean, they're different movies, right? They're different kinds of movies, so it'd be hard for me to say.
Well, probably technically, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack was the best movie I saw this year. But it wasn't a new movie.
Yeah. Well, I quite liked the new Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which that's one that I am just... The critical reaction to that is baffling to me.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I'm just sort of like, what did you think it was going to be? Because I got like 2 hours of monsters punching each other, and what I wanted was 2 hours of monsters punching each other.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And then I even got like a implication of a possible, Mecha Ghidorah in the future, so...
Right. Yeah, I mean, some people after the first one were like, well, there wasn't enough Godzilla, which I can understand having that reaction, although I think the way that it was constructed and the way they did it worked for me.
Yeah,
I also
like
saw something that commented later that was like, for all the people that say there wasn't enough Godzilla in it, it had more minutes straight of Godzilla, actual screen time than like 90% of movies that have Godzilla.
A lot of Godzilla movies do not actually have very much Godzilla in them.
Right, exactly. So.
Oh man, did you see that Criterion number 1000 is the Godzilla Showa era box set?
Yeah.
I love everything about that, and I'm definitely going to get that when it comes out.
Nice.
But yeah, and I told you, I think you finally watched Kong Skull Island because I had mentioned that it was...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that more than Godzilla 2016 or whatever. Maybe I didn't like it as a film more, but I had more fun with it. I'll put it that way.
I can see that argument. I can see that. It definitely was fun.
John C. Reilly was great. There's plenty of Kong action. Kong gets to live this time.
Yep.
Spoilers, if you didn't realize, they're making a Kong versus Godzilla movie. He lives.
And there's a ton of people getting just wrecked by Kong, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
Just whatever it was, like.
Well, also you can't show up
20
on
20 minutes into the movie, he just stomps on a bunch of people.
Right. That's what I loved is that the one of the things I love about these movies that they're doing really well, the Monsterverse or whatever the hell they're calling it. The humans are always completely impotent. Except for in King of the Monsters, they accidentally use the oxygen destroyer to like they accidentally kill Godzilla and then they're like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done that.
Oh man!
Now we have to bring him back. Then now we have to nuke
Shit.
him. Now we have to nuke him to bring him back because we fucked up.
Right.
But yeah, I mean it's just,
I like that they're completely outmatched.
Yeah, that anytime that people try to do something against Godzilla or Rodan or Mothra or whatever, the monsters are all just like nah. So yeah, I'm digging those movies. So I said I'm kind of bummed that Eric isn't around because I said that Eric was Eric and I did the co-stream thing. Laminate Fish 834 says, "What the heck is a mixer?" I don't know, man.
That's a thing that you make smoothies in.
Yeah, right. Or a thing you beat eggs with.
Yeah, right. Is this a hand mixer?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
More grainy footage of Solid Snake. I mean, Kyle Reese.
I thought that was a clip from the Duran Duran's Wild Boys video.
Yeah, I mean, it was. It's just it's so low quality that you
it's
can't
hard to
tell.
Is that Simon Le Bon? Is that Michael Biehn?
It's one of the several Taylors, actually.
They did have
they had a surplus of Taylors.
They did have a surplus of
Duran.
Taylors. Yeah, they cornered the market on Taylors.
They really did. None of them were related. Yeah, that's my favorite part about Duran Duran. This is 3 guys named Taylor, none of whom are related. Related 80s music fact that I love. The only guy in ZZ Top who doesn't have a beard, his name is Beard.
Frank Beard. Yep. Correct.
The grenades in this game are like sort of ridiculously overpowered, but they're also like very difficult to aim.
I guess that's how they balance it.
Yeah, I mean that seems like that was the balancing act. Is like yeah, this thing is really good, but like it's hard to hit anything that's not like a boss with it. It's kind of a tall order to hit.
Right. Is this supposed to be like the factory where they're building the Terminator?
Yeah, this is supposed to be like the Skynet, headquarters or whatever. Or this is Skynet, I guess, really.
Are you inside Skynet right now?
Inside Skynet. It's never super clear.
Call is coming from inside Skynet.
Yeah, it's never super duper clear what Skynet actually, if it's a building or just a computer, and then in the third one it's the internet, right? And then in the fifth one it's like an app. It's like a smartphone app, right, or something. I don't know. I want to be excited for Terminator Dark Fate because Linda Hamilton's back, and I like Tim Miller, but like we're way past fool me once, shame on you. Like
this is
territory
like 1,200 times. Yeah, agreed. I mean, I'm gonna go see it, but
yeah, I mean, same. Also, I like that. Who's the actress that she was on *Halt and Catch Fire*? She plays the Terminator.
Yeah,
in this one.
Mackenzie.
Yeah,
something.
yeah. She was at McGill at the same time as one of my friends.
When I saw her in the trailer, I was like, "Holy shit, that's a lady from *Halt and Catch Fire*." Looking badass.
Mm-hmm. I'm also there's also Mackenzie Davis. There's a lot of speculation on what role Arnold is playing, like if he's the guy that the Terminators were designed on, or if he is a Terminator. The guy behind the guy behind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some
skills will appear on Joe on this next channel. What is all this shit?
I don't know. I'm not sure I want to know.
Cass says, "Welcome aboard, Mixer Joe."
Hey, Todd.
Perhaps welcome aboard, Mixer Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, the Brewers routed the Pirates, or they were in the middle of routing the Pirates, I guess, when I stopped watching. I think they scored a couple runs, but last I checked, the Brewers were winning by not a little bit. Last I was aware. So, sorry, Todd. These turrets are like the most annoying thing. Oh, that didn't work out. What got all like? Am I dropping frames or something, or?
And I just actually completely stopped.
Really?
He says, Snarkass says it was 8-3, but yeah, I'm done.
Sorry, not sorry.
I think it is not happy if you don't lose focus on the window in any way, shape, or form. Like I switch off to look at something, come back, and the actual video part is all
your fault, not my fault.
Yep. Which is what I thought, because it had come up before. Illuminato says, "There we go." I don't know about what.
Yeah, I don't know.
I also don't want to know what these numbers are between people's names.
Going back in time.
And Illuminato has a 1.
Yeah, I think that's like a level. It's like how much you watch people on Mixer. You can level up as a viewer. You gave me 100 lightning bolts for some reason. Or
I gave you the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I clicked on the thing that said skills.
My God, it's full of stars.
Put stickers down. Yeah, exactly. That was it. I could have done pizza.
Pizza's always good.
Thanks. Snarkass says, "I guess that's what it is too. I follow a regular person who here, and I'm level 13 with him."
Oh, so it's like based on who you're watching, what level you are. That's kind of weird. Whatever.
Yeah, that is weird.
I guess that helps us know.
Now I'm apparently.
Oh, Illuminato says I got the account. Oh, so Illuminato I think was Laminate Fish and is now the proper Illuminato.
Yes, Illuminato is much better than Laminate Fish. 12-7-6-5-3. 27B stroke 6.
27B stroke 6. You see what you've done now?
Nice.
Was that the first movie you and I saw together at the Draft House?
Did we see Brazil together at the Draft House?
We did, right after I moved to DC. In November of 2013. We saw Brazil at the Draft House. The good and proper director's cut.
Nice.
It's not the first movie I saw there, because the first movie I saw there, Anthony and I went to see Rocktober Blood,
Right.
like 3 days after I moved there. And you couldn't go for some reason, but I don't remember what the reason was,
Yes.
since that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah. January 19th. Brazil.
Oh, it was January. It was January. Okay.
That's what it says.
Is that what it says in your letterbox?
Log there. My little log of things, yeah.
So I get that you have to like add some enemies to make this work, but like it's very weird that Kyle Reese is just running around like gunning down guys who look like extras from the Warriors. Like,
I mean, they came out and played, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Illuminato says, hell yeah, FMVs.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, right.
About
And then
how
Snarkcast says, now one of Tommy Tellerica's best tracks, as well as stage one.
this is one of his best soundtracks, and what's really dope about this game is that the soundtrack is Red Book Audio, so I just ripped it to my computer and put it on my phone so that I can listen to it whenever I want. This soundtrack rules. This is one of the great early examples of why Red Book Audio was killer, is the soundtrack to this game, including a sort of like an arrangement of Brad Fiddel's Terminator theme, done by Tommy Tallarico, which is pretty good.
Snarkcast, who has now leveled up, by the way,
Oh,
says, I think he's tired of me gushing over his soundtrack, though he told me to gush away. Way to name drop. Well done. For live viewers.
all right.
It's more than I expected.
So Eric and I did a community. I posted on Patreon that we were switching to Mixer, and I did a community
Sure.
post on YouTube to say
But
that
you know
we were
how
moving.
people are.
That's true. I do. But you know, there'd been a lot of talk about, and I don't know that I necessarily completely believe it, although the latest video is doing a lot better than the prior one, and I don't know if that's a
You were talking
coincidence.
about
But yeah, people have been saying, well, if you stream on YouTube and you don't get a ton of viewers for your streams, that messes up your standing in the algorithm, because you're getting way fewer views for
Right.
a very long video.
thing.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's...
yeah,
Oh, come on!
we're now playing Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah, right.
This seems like this place is not OSHA compliant.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe. Is it the murderous punks that are here, or that tipped you off, or is it...
Yeah, I mean, it's that plus also the giant gaps in the girders and the lack of handrails, that sort of thing.
Handrails are important.
There.
Alright, now... Okay, yep, this is where I'm going. Oh, this is where I'm going. Some of the, I will argue to the end that, pixel art, in a 2D game, pixel art is more pleasing than 3D assets, but sometimes you just can't tell. Like, the wall of this apartment building right here, that I'm shooting at right now, like, I couldn't tell if that was a wall that would stop me from moving forward or not, It's one of those things. Sometimes you can miss stuff, is all I'm saying. But, this is a really great looking game. That's another thing about the Genesis version. Like I mentioned that there's a Genesis version, but this is the better version. The Genesis version doesn't look near, like you would think, because there's games like, Batman Returns out there where it's like, oh, it's the same as the Genesis game with some added stuff. But like, no, this version looks a lot better than the Genesis version of the same game. And yes, I'm going to do an episode on it eventually, before anybody in the chat even asks.
The little, green shieldy effect or whatever that was earlier.
Yeah, when you get the bulletproof
It was
vest.
rotating around you? Yeah. That actually looked really nice as it was flowing around you.
Yeah, I actually even like the way that his the trench coat that he steals from the department store like flaps behind him when he runs.
Flutters, yeah.
I actually really like that he has two
I was noticing
totally separate sprites from future Kyle Reese to 1984 Kyle Reese. You know.
Narcast says, I thought you did a same name different grade of this already.
Nope.
Maybe that was Dan from Console Wars doing a What's the Difference?
Dan from Console Wars did a What's the Difference. Yes, that's true. That did happen. But I have not done an episode on this yet. The problem is that there are so many games based on the Terminator that it's going to be a bit of an undertaking when I do decide to do it. Because there's a really bad NES game, Genesis, Game Gear, Sega CD, and then I think there's some like British microcomputer games and stuff too. So the loading times on this are a little. I mean, you know, this is back in the days of the single speed CD drive, so
right.
Load times between stages can be a bit. Recently, speaking of Terminator, that's another thing I'd have to at least mention. That somebody unearthed the original sort of pitch video preview tape from CES from when before Journey to Silius became Journey to Silius, because it famously started as a Terminator game and Sunsoft didn't finish it before their license ran out, so they had to change it because then LJN got the license, or Acclaim, or whoever it was, whichever one of those it was, got the license out from under them, sort of. So there's a version out there. Like, there were screenshots in Nintendo Power.
It's Mindscape.
Oh, it was Mindscape.
Or as I call them, Mindfuck.
Yeah, Mindscape is a terrible publisher. LJN gets all the flack, and I think a lot of that has to do with the AVGN like dunking on them continuously for like a decade now. But and not that LJN didn't make a lot of bad games; they certainly did. But there are worse publishers on the NES, and Mindscape. High Tech Expressions, I think, is the actual worst publisher of all time. Like, I can think of one game that they published that I like. So,
yeah. Snarkast, who has now leveled up again,
oh man,
says, "Forget LJN. Mindfuck is the worst.
Yeah,
it's worse."
Mindscape is, yeah, they were. Mindscape gets a little bit of a pass because they published some Tengen games. Like, they published like. There's an unlicensed and a licensed version of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The game is identical, but Mindscape published the licensed version and Tengen published the unlicensed version. Which is different than the two versions of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade on the NES, which are in fact completely separate games. One from Taito and one from Ubisoft.
Mike has now joined.
I have.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Well, I'm trying to figure out where you're streaming to.
Mixer.com/Joe on the stick.
I tried that.
I don't understand what this heart thing is.
Well, you see, Kurt, your blood needs to be oxygenated, and it needs to get to all the different parts of your body, including your brain. So, you have a heart that pumps the blood.
Did not grow 3 times.
No.
No, this heart has a greater than, less than symbol on it. I've added it as a sticker to the chat.
Huh.
I don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
if that's
Oh, that's the Mixer logo, I think, actually.
How is it? Oh, I see. The X. Yeah. So that implies I love Mixer.
I guess.
So now this is funny because my layout for when I watched this stream is the same as it was last night. So
Kurt
there's
mentioned
space
that.
for 2 windows, but only
Yep.
one of them has stuff in it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Kurt mentioned that he said that. Were you able to get rid of that, Kurt?
I see no way to get rid of that.
More full screen, I guess.
Yeah.
I could, but then I can't see the chat. I couldn't see a way to make the video bigger, but not completely obscure the chat.
Huh.
And if you like switch around, then the video player gets all wonky. I have to keep reloading.
Alright, oh, I'm not fighting the police helicopter again. Fuck that. Oh, come on.
Way to not fight the future.
Alright, you know what? Fine. I am
Way
fighting
to,
the police helicopter
way to
again.
capitulate to the future. You're really just falling that all.
It falls on me and kills me. This is the problem
Nice.
that I seem to be running into.
That
is
seems
that-
like a problem.
It didn't seem to fall on you at all. You have real serious clipping issues.
I feel like the prop can get you. I think the prop hit me on the way down.
Oh, that's actually realistic.
Snarkate says, but remember, the future is not set.
That's
No
right.
fate, but what we make.
That's true. Which is why I don't know why there are so many sequels.
And thus, they are dark.
Yes. I feel like I get a
It should
a few
just say
continues.
terminated fucker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Apparently I don't. I thought I got continues, but apparently not. So,
No, continue.
well, we got at least 15
That's
more
sad.
minutes that I want to hang out. So we could, since I'm rocking the Sega CD.
Time for some. Was it make your own music video?
I don't have any of the Make My Video games, unfortunately. I'll run them down for you, Mike, because I don't have that many Sega CD games. Adventures of Batman and Robin, Amazing Spider-Man vs. the Kingpin, Double Switch, Ground Zero Texas, Jeopardy, Masked Rider, Robo Aleste, Sylpheed, Snatcher, this game,
Sylpheed.
and WWF Rage in the Cage.
I want to see some selfie. That used to play the original on our PC Junior.
Snarkate
like
says,
Nelson.
thank
do it.
goodness, lol. I presume that means, thank goodness you don't have any of the Make My Videos. He says, love Robo Aleste and Sylpheed.
All right, we'll do Sylpheed.
How you doing, Kurt? What's going on?
I am doing all right. I am
You
sitting
all-
here
well, all right.
watching watching the chat and chatting with Joe, and that's pretty good. And yourself? You're
I'm
back
pretty
from
good.
the back from the cottage,
From several cottages.
the cottage country.
cottages do you need, Mike?
How many
Well,
ends?
apparently 2 plus a house in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a couple of different places with different groups of people. Or different groups of family. As it were.
All right. Was it a good time? Good times were had by all?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. The only thing is, it was a lot of being away, and I did some recording and stuff after that, and so by the time I finished my vacation, I felt like I needed a vacation.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Hmm.
Yeah, single speed CD drive.
Mm-hmm.
You should add some speeds.
Yeah, right.
Is this
Too many-
sparkly Sega thing just like the background that goes when the Sega CD is opens, like the BIOS or something?
No, that's after you load a game. You get the sparkly Sega logo. That's the initial loading screen, basically.
That's how you know you're playing with power or something.
That's right.
GD for goddamn.
I said, God damn. Oh, look at that. Look at this vintage 1993, 4 CG cutscene.
Yeah, I don't think the PC version I was playing was like in the 80s, and it did not have this sweet intro. Man, this is right up my alley. This looks directly pulled from like out of this world.
Yeah, right.
Sega CD 1993.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you have the year for the MS-DOS version?
Uh,
I guess it was probably
89.
Was it like an MSX game first or something?
It was a PC 88.
I was going to say, it was
The
either
one
MSX or
game-
PC 8801.
80,
That's why it had cool
86,
music.
FM 77 AV in 88. Apple II GS and TRS-80 Coco in 88. And then MS-DOS.
I don't think
Sega
this
CD.
game is the same thing as what was on the TRS-80. That's just a guess.
TRS-80 Coco, which is a different thing than the standard TRS.
That's a great name for a computer.
How different?
Coco. I don't remember. I'd have to go actually go look.
What was it, Kurt? What was the computer, your first computer that you built with your old man? I remember you
It was
wrote
a
an article.
Heathkit H89.
Okay. That was what you played the Lurking Horror on, if I remember correctly, right? That was that article that you talked about?
Yeah.
That?
Right.
The LARPing horror.
The LARPing horror, that's
Yes,
correct.
the LARPing. All LARPing is the LARPing horror, Mike.
Snarkcast says it's a lot better than the Japanese loading screen that just said produced and distributed by Kabukishi Kaisha Sega and the Sega logo.
Oh, right.
And then he says 1988.
8-arm, option arm. Okay.
I'm just
good.
reading what's on Wikipedia. So
I usually go with Moby Games. That's my default when I'm looking at release dates and stuff.
I was looking for something else, so I was already on Wikipedia.
Ah, okay. This was the game I topped the leaderboard on this game at the very first World's Greatest Shmup Player tournament I played in at the Midwest Gaming Classic in 2007.
Makes me frown.
Yeah, I don't like that word either. You know that.
Yeah,
That's what the tournament was called, though. So
yeah, I understood it. I heard the quotes.
yeah,
I don't see what's so bad about that word.
It's irritating.
yeah, it's irritating.
But shooter is so vague,
Did you say shoot 'em up?
I guess.
Oh man, single speed
It's like
CD drive.
It's like the Brits and all their little, resi and that kind of stuff.
the Specky.
Specky, yeah.
For Spectrum Holobyte.
Yeah.
No, Specky's for the ZX
Or
Spectrum.
the
I know.
Spectrum, yeah. I said, I was like, wait, no.
Maybe
I
this
know
game,
the
this
vast
game might. I haven't played this game in a really long time. I'm starting to wonder if it's actually going to load because this is long, even by
see
the
a lot of-
standards of
a lot
the
of
single speed CD
black
drive.
screen.
Is this playing off original hardware?
Sure is.
Maybe you need
Or
to,
I guess maybe not playing, I should say.
Yes, it is
maybe you need
not.
to rewind the tape again.
Currently,
and
it
try
is not
try
playing
it
on
all over.
original hardware. Now, I have not sprung for one of those. I don't remember what it's called now. Mega SD or whatever, the flash cart from Terra Onion that does Sega CD on a cart. I have not sprung for one of those.
Snarkcast agrees that it seems longer than normal. The first FMV usually boots up quickly after the title screen. Illuminato says, gush, gush.
Man, I'm really curious to see if it's the same game that I remember from PC version, but I guess I could always look it up on YouTube or something.
I'm gonna
If
guess
it's not gonna cooperate.
because it's a. I mean, I've played this game before, obviously. It's the graphics on display here. I don't think would have functioned on a 1988 DOS machine, so I'm gonna guess that it's probably fairly different than that version. But it's a vertically scrolling shooter. You have
With a bit of like a tunnel feel, right? A little bit of a
right,
kind of.
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
You can't zoom around like the sides or anything, but
Right, it's sort of like
it's a behind the back. It's an axle.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lot like Axelay. Yeah. Yeah, we might have to switch it up to RoboLS because I know that works if this doesn't load properly this time. Sorry, Mike, if that's the case.
That's okay.
Womp womp.
Okay, well here we go. We got we're back to the title screen. We are back to the
Snarkcast says, your ship zooms in and out in 3 planes.
yeah. Yeah, so it's a little bit like Zaxxon, but it's not isometric. We'll give it a minute. See if it's able to kick over a little bit here. But if not, like I said, we'll switch over to RoboLS. And see how we do with that.
Well, apropos of nothing, I've been playing a whole bunch of Time Spinner lately, and that game was pretty good, actually.
That's the Nazi killing Metroidvania.
Yeah, I guess so. There is a totalitarian regime, except that when you fight them, they look more like birds than Nazis. So, but yes,
That's because Nazis are for the birds.
It's true.
Exactly.
Nazism is for the
It
birds.
is a time It's basically a Symphony of the Night 2. It's unbelievable how much they took from Symphony of the Night.
I thought Bloodstained was Symphony of the Night too.
No, but this game looks like it was. This game looks like one of those things where you have another game made using like the same game engine, but from the 90s.
Oh, sure.
It's like they just swapped out all the assets and made a new game using the exact underlying systems of Symphony of the Night.
Sorry, Mike. I'm gonna. I don't want to. I'm not keeping a black
Punt.
screen up for. We're gonna jump to anime feudal Japan mech robots. Speaking of the Midwest Gaming Classic, I bought this game at the Midwest Gaming Classic, as you can see here, for $15. Try finding a copy of this game for $15 today. I wish you luck.
Is it the console that you brought to Retro Game Roadshow one year?
It is. It's the same one. By JVC XI.
Yep. Feudal Japan with mechs and an awesome tech disco soundtrack.
Yep. This is the oft-forgotten sequel to Musha. Everybody knows Musha because, one, it's super good shoot 'em up on the Sega Genesis, maybe the best shoot 'em up on the Genesis, and two, it's really, really expensive. Nobody remembers Robo Aleste, but it is the follow-up to Musha. It's the sequel. So I love my anime bullshit as much as anybody else, but in the interest of, like, keeping the stream moving, I'm going to skip the anime cutscenes because they're actually really long. There is a ton of story in this game for a shoot 'em up. Let's see. I like that Cruel is the top difficulty in this game. Show me what you can do, Aleste.
He says, and yes, compile.
Hell yeah, compile.
This looks pretty, but your character is real big.
The hitbox is not the whole character, though. Like, your hitbox is kind of just like where the cockpit, about where the cockpit is, more or less.
Your hitbox is where the cockpit is.
Oh yeah, and one of the power-ups is Ninja Stars, which is just really, really
Nice.
great.
Also, Snarkass is leveled up yet again.
Nice. Good job. Good job,
Dang.
Todd.
You found a metal slime or something?
Getting those.
That's right.
We are the metal slime.
He's
apparently.
grinding our chat to level up. Yeah, the level slime was the friends who made. The metal slime was the friends who made all of them all along.
That's right.
These are giant robot feudal musketeers.
Yeah.
He says he never noticed. Sure, he didn't notice. No, it's right there, so it's interesting to watch it change. Since this is my first time being on
I can just
Mixer,
scroll
I'm
up
kind
and-
of
Yeah,
looking to see what's what.
I can just scroll up and see you at level 3.
Yeah,
Who's the Sparks leader on the Stickler?
that's me.
That's it.
Okay.
Because I put 2 stickers on the channel.
How do the stickers work?
We're still
If
trying
you
to
look-
figure that out.
If you look down the bottom where it has his name and stuff, and it says skills on the right.
Skills.
Click
Yeah,
that.
I got skills.
Click that, it brings up a thing, one of which is stickers.
Mm.
And you can click that and it pops up and it shows you how much they cost.
It maybe would have done that if I had linked my account, but I have not made a Mixer account yet.
Oh, you can just sign into your Xbox Live account and it just like automatically.
Yeah.
In fact, it defaulted the channel name for me to Joey Pink, and I was like, I could keep that, but I just decided to switch it to Joe on the Stick because I like the idea of being able to use the co-streaming thing, and I want it just to be easily seen that, like, you know, Eric's got the main on the Stick brand, and then
Right.
you know,
And then affiliates.
right.
That's a lot of bullets you're throwing out there.
Yep.
Does it get wider than 4?
I don't remember. I think 4 is. I think I'm actually maxed out on my standard weapon here.
Excuse me. I have been playing Hollow Knight
Really?
Oh.
Because
after everybody telling you how good it was, you decided...
No, I had played it already
Okay.
after everybody telling me how good it was. And so Fangamer put out a collector's edition, which I sprung for, and that showed up, and one of the things that was in it was a physical Switch copy with all the expansions and stuff. And when I went to go to New York, I was like, oh, pop this in and just fiddle with it a little bit. And
30 hours
the game
later...
is really fucking good, and so I just kept playing it.
Yeah, it sure is.
Part of it was that I've been thinking recently, it was like, like you were pushing me about doing the stuff that I hadn't done. Like I finished off the final boss, quote unquote, but I didn't get the good ending and do the other stuff.
That's a good ending. It's so good.
Yeah, right. And so you've been saying that, and I was like, yeah, I should do that. You know, I haven't played it in quite a while. All of my meager Hollow Knight skills are incredibly atrophied. Yeah, so I'll play some of this and tune up. And then I was just like, yeah, no, that's good. I'm going to just keep playing it.
So, Kurt, apparently 4 across is the max, but 2 of my energy kunai have now turned into fireballs as I've continued to...
That's pretty good.
So... I assume that I can continue turning more of them into fireballs as I grab more power-ups.
Right. It says arm level 2.
That's for my shuriken weapon. So those level,
Okay.
like, you get the colored orbs, level those up, and then the little multicolored flashing pills that you catch level up your main gun. So I just leveled up my arm to level 3 by catching another green gem.
Aha.
And then these little rainbow pills that I grabbed up the... You don't have a visual representation aside from the... Yeah, so now I've got 4 fireballs.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Crazy.
And then I just got jacked by
Because of course.
Because of course.
Because that's exactly what happens.
Joe, would
So
you
it
remind me
happens.
if does the Sega CD have any increased processing power, or is it just
It does.
storage?
Nope,
It does.
it does. The
TurboGrafx.
TurboGrafx is just a CD player. All it does
Right.
is add storage capacity, which is why it needed the Pro System card and the arcade card and all that jazz to give it more power, just more RAM really. But yes, the Sega CD actually has more it's got a coprocessor in it that adds some really, really amazing scaling
Right, like that Batman
stuff.
game.
Yeah, both
driving.
the Batman driving games. Right, are great shows of that type of stuff. So. Yeah, I mean, I think Sega felt like they needed it at that point because the Super Nintendo came out, 2 years after the Genesis and had some stuff that it was able to do that the Genesis wasn't.
Snarkest says it had a 15 megahertz processor, I think, as well as an A6 scaling chip.
There you go.
You literally just came back in. Stupid cat.
Cats, man.
Yeah. But now I'm in. I did see a Twitter joke the other day. It was like, cat vampire, let me in, let me in. Okay. Ha ha ha, you fool. Closes his door. Wait, let me out, let me out. Yep.
So now I'm fighting evil feudal Japan Voltron, apparently.
Sure.
Yeah, but this guy's
As
a dingus
one
and he has no
does.
friends.
As one does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no one's telling him that green is doing nothing for him. Makes his skin look sallow.
I mean, he has formed a blazing sword, though. I gotta give him credit for that. 2 of them, in fact.
Well, he's mostly just seems to be blazing out of his stomach.
It's true. It can't be possible. He's really shocked that I just blew him up. I guess he's also piloting the robot from the crotch because he's not dead when the torso blows up, so...
I mean, where else would you pilot it from?
I mean, the head, I guess?
That you're just exposed out there.
I mean, Voltron has 5 pilots, and they all pilot from the limbs, and Keith pilots from the chest, I guess. So
no one's ever going to think to smash your foot.
there you go. So Pidge is safe.
I'm just saying,
is what
head
you're
is
saying.
not a great choice.
I
But
guess.
foot, sure.
Chest, I guess, is probably... I feel like chest is probably the optimal control point, maybe?
Right.
But it's the easiest part to hit.
That's true,
What
but
if you
it
were, like, in
also
the
could
butt or
theoretically be like the most armored, you know. Whoa, I thought that was a cloud. That was not a cloud. Oh, it's a snow. Okay, it's a snow drift that will kill me. I see. Okay.
Snarkass says, true, but what about other Voltron? How do 15 pilots control?
Dude, I do not personally acknowledge Vehicle Voltron as a legitimate Voltron. That's just Lion Voltron or bust as far as I'm concerned.
You know, half of those guys are playing like Minesweeper.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're playing Galaga or whatever. Do no games on the Sega CD have continue features? Like, what is going on here? Oh, there we go. I had to press start on the title screen to continue for this game.
Robo LS.
Oh, but now I'm totally depowered. I keep forgetting that. If I don't fire, I hope LS's joints will not freeze up. You can throw your pods if you... If you stop firing for a moment, you can
So
fire.
before, every time you respawned, you had 4 shots. Why are you down to 2 now?
Because I had to continue.
Yeah.
When
you upgrade?
Not permanent, but you only lose like 1 level of power.
Oh, I see.
For taking a death, except on your arm. Your arm, you lose all. It drops the power. Oh, come on! I didn't have enough invincibility frames to cover that. That's nonsense. Yeah, on your arm, you lose all the power, but on your main gun, you just go down 1 level when you die.
Never skip arm day.
Which is generally, you know, the sort of compiles. Most compiles games have a mechanic where either you can not die from taking a hit, like you take a hit and then instead of dying you lose your weapon and then you die, or your main gun just drops a level when you die. That's generally how they do. They don't do the Konami like, oh nope, you're fucked now.
Good, because that's not my favorite thing.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people's not favorite thing. Oh, come on.
Funny thing is that that's also true in Castlevania.
Which?
Any Castlevania, really.
Oh, that you lose all your...
You get to the super hard boss, you die, you lose your cross or your holy water, and then good luck.
Yeah, but it depends on the Castlevania. A lot of the harder bosses, and like especially Dracula, like you get pickups and you can get your whip fully powered up, like between where you continue and where you go to fight Dracula.
I suppose.
So, at least there's that. This is fairly punitive though, because the weapon you start with is sort of trash. So.
Well, this is very pretty, but I'm pretty tired, so I'm going to take off.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one more continue, and then
nice.
I think I'm gonna call it as well.
So please enjoy mixing it up.
We will. How does it look tonight, Mike? I switched to 720. I'm kind of. I started saying this like 3 times and then never finished. Eric and I were co-streaming last night, but I was streaming at 1080 and he was streaming at 720, which I think is why we weren't perfectly synced up.
I feel like I haven't seen any hitching on your side tonight, except at one point when you were loading the game, but maybe that was just because there actually was nothing to see, but it seemed like your camera stopped working at that point.
Huh,
maybe you're just being very stealthy.
Snarkass says I usually have issues watching 1080 streams, but this 720 stream runs pretty well.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean it should.
Level 7.
Nice. I'm
Peace out.
see you, Mike. Like I'm on Ethernet, so really like I should not have any. Okay. Apparently, going into this stage, you want to be fully powered and then not die, because I'm just getting railroaded. No pun intended. Who am I kidding? That pun was extremely intended. Here over and over again. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. It's 10 after 10 in my time. 10 after 11. Kurt's time. So.
Yep.
I think we'll call it a night, but
Sounds good.
thanks to everybody who came out and hung out.
Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Yeah, we'll be doing some more mixing stuff. We'll be back, on Wednesday with something. I don't know what. Something.
Yeah, some things. And Eric and I might, at some point, between now and then, play more Wolfenstein.
Oh, nice. How is that?
So far, I think I'm enjoying it. I believe he is enjoying it as well.
Cool.